When Munich Security Conference speaks and when Ambassador Wolfgang Ischinger speaks, entire world listens because we know that something very important will come out of that speech and that conference. But also Wolfgang Ischinger is very important for Bosnia and Herzegovina because he was key German negotiator in the Dayton peace agreement. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to program N1.
I'm pleased to be with you on your show. Good morning.
Mr. Ambassador, in the past you said several very important quotes about Dayton peace agreement, and I'll quote just one of them. You said, "We made a mistake. We thought peace would lead to reconciliation and then to functional state. Instead, the ethnic divisions that fueled the war were frozen into political structure." Can you a bit elaborate on this? Because you're right, Bosnia is in some frozen space, but how do you see it?
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's a very important question. You see, the problem with the Dayton negotiations was 30 years ago, almost exactly now, that we almost failed in Dayton reaching any agreement. In other words, the agreement reached what was possible at that particular moment in time, but it was not sufficient to solve the entire problem. Actually, it was in one important respect very successful because we were able to end a military conflict. Shooting stopped, killing stopped. But the stopping of killing, of course, is not the same thing as creating a lasting peace, which also means, you know, getting along with other people. It means overcoming past hatred and resentment. It means, you know, entering into a state of peace instead of a state of confrontation and war. And my view is that we, the international community, along with the parties in Bosnia and in the neighborhood, we missed the opportunity, which we should have seized a few years after Dayton, to revise the Dayton Agreement and to take it one step further, to take it to the step where Bosnia-Herzegovina would now be a more unified state, not a state divided by what I think are not really quite unnatural ethnic dividing lines, etc. In other words, the project was a wonderful project, and we succeeded to more than 50%, but we did not succeed with 100%, and this is why you have continuing major issues and confrontation and resentment and inadequate functioning of government in Bosnia-Herzegovina and actually also in other parts of the region.
Mr. Ambassador, you also warned in the past about Milorad Dodik and his secessionist rhetoric here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and he was sanctioned by several states, but the United States recently removed his sanctions. How do you see that situation? Is Bosnia still a place where danger could happen, if I may say like that?
Well, look, when you are in China, and you look at Europe, you look at the European Union consisting of 27 states. From China, the 27 members of the European Union look like 27 dwarfs, tiny, tiny units, not even fully united. Now, if I may extend that to Bosnia-Herzegovina, people like President Dodik and others behave as if the welfare and the future and the prosperity and the well-being of the population of this country would be better served if it's even more divided than among the 27 members of the European Union. This is, in my view, when I look at global issues, when I look at how great powers confront each other today, this is quite ridiculous. So I think I think smart, intelligent foreign policy, smart policy of all leaders in Bosnia-Herzegovina and in the region should be directed at uniting more and getting your act together more, creating regional cooperation, getting ready to join the European Union, being part of a larger actor, because otherwise you will not be listened to in the future by the larger powers in the world. That's the naked truth as we look at it today.
Mr. Ambassador, you were also part of another important story in the Western Balkans, and that's a Kosovo situation. Relationship between Serbia and Kosovo is still unresolved, and the entire region is basically frozen in place. Some countries are moving towards EU and NATO. How do you see this situation between Serbia and Kosovo?
Well, I'm deeply worried about this. You know, as you know, I was the representative of the European Union during the Troika effort in 2007, which then led to the declaration of independence by Kosovo in early 2008. I find it deeply regrettable, deplorable, that the recognition of Kosovo as a valid state is still in doubt by non-recognition, even by some members of the European Union and by others. And this is, of course, one key reason for the continuing dispute and confrontational atmosphere between Serbia and Kosovo. I would be so happy if I had the key to opening up this one final door between Serbia and Kosovo. These two countries could do so many great things together and complement each other. Here again, I would think let's start thinking in terms of larger strategic interest, and not in terms of petty, provincial, small, local politics. That's my message to my friends in Kosovo, to my friends in Serbia, and to my friends in the entire region.
Mr. Ambassador, I'm asked to ask you, we know that the US President Donald Trump is not interested that much in the Western Balkans politically, but he's transactional, and we have seen that with Dodik in Bosnia, with Vučić in Serbia. What kind of role US will play here in the region of Western Balkans, and should Brussels, both sides, NATO and EU, take a more responsibility and more ownership here in the region of Western Balkans?
Well, I am, of course, not the spokesman for the Trump administration, and I don't know exactly what priority the Trump administration is likely to connect with this region. But what I do know is that this region is of huge importance to the future development of the European Union. We promised to the countries of the Western Balkans the perspective of EU membership in 2003. That's 22 years ago. In other words, that process is moving along far too slowly. It should be accelerated. The perspective of belonging to the larger European Union club, with the perspective of a dramatic rise in prosperity and trade and international connectivity, is such a wonderful perspective that I think we should, my own country, we should do everything to try to accelerate this process. The Western Balkans deserve to enter the European Union, not in 10 years, but hopefully in the next few years. Thank you so much for the interview. I'm sorry I need to go now, but it's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for your time. We appreciate it, and I hope we'll have a next chance very soon.